This is a Casey the Talking Tape Player robot released by Playskool in 1985. It has a corroded battery bay, cosmetic wear, and a horrible rattle inside. Let's see if we can fix him. Right, so Casey's arrived. I haven't opened him yet. Let's get inside and see what kind of condition he's in. Right, so here he is, and quite a large item you can see here. So it's not a small robot. He's you know, about 30 centimeters tall and wide. I'd make a fantastic display item. Really large. You can hear, oh, there's a lot of movement and a lot of rattling around inside. We have, let's have a look. Yeah, there's a lot of dirt and grime. There's obviously been a sticker on his face. We're going to need to get this removed off the back. This, I think, is for holding spare cassettes. So the eject button's working at least. I'm pretty sure that's where spare cassettes get stored like that. So we have the cassette, Casey Finds a Friend. And that goes with this book here, so hopefully if we get it working we'll be able to read along as it plays. Although it does also play normal tape cassettes as well, apparently. That makes it do stuff with got a volume. But yeah, so it's in reasonably acceptable condition. And the main thing, we were told that the battery bay wasn't great. I haven't seen this before. So yeah, I mean, they're a bit pitted, but they're not terrible. I'm more concerned about that horrible, whatever the heck is inside there. But anyway, I'll grab 4 of these batteries. They look like the larger D cells, don't they? I mean, there's no signs of life there. I guess I can always start with the contacts here before I go inside, but I don't think they're that bad, and I don't think it's going to do much good, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah, still nothing, so we are going to have a look inside. It's always worth not rushing ahead though, just to see if there are signs of life. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like 8 Phillips head screws. So that's all of those off, and then yeah, you're going to have this around here. So you can either gently take it off like this and just use a bit of IPA to help as you go along, or if it's really, you know, really sticky, you can also use a very small amount of heat just to loosen it up. Okay, so there we go. There's our battery contacts that I mentioned. There's a lot of, so the thing that was moving around inside was our speakers come loose. So, oh yeah, we've got the tape belt has gone as well. So we've got a motor down here that should be driving this section here that then drives this part here as well. So there's 2 belts that we'll need replacing. It's just an awful lot of dirt and corrosion inside here. It's like it's got wet at some point. So, but the first thing we really want to try and do is try and get some power into this board. Bench power supply into here, and at least that takes the contacts out of the game. Okay, so I'm going for 6 volts and half an amp should be enough to get some life into it. Oh, look, there we go. So let's see if we can trick it into playing. Well, there he is. That's good. So the face has come on nice and clear. You can hear the cassette that was the cassette motor turning then when you press go. So I think the first thing I'll do is actually work on the battery contact. Oh, there we go. See, that does that. So yeah, just opening it up, actually it came through, so that was good. So you'll see the amount of rust coming off here with the penetrating fluid and that all just coming right off. Yeah, so we're getting much better now. Interestingly, it looks like you can actually just take out everything once you've taken those screws out. So that just gives you your case. So that's quite handy actually, because I'm going to wash the whole thing. That's easy enough to replace this. Maybe we just do clean up in place rather than take it all off, because I can access the parts. The only benefit of taking it all off would have made cleaning this housing better, but it could introduce more problems. And first we'll do the belt. So on this it's fairly straightforward by the look of it. That's all misshapen and it's gone hard as well. And then we'll have to take the other one out. I'm just a little bit confused about where this spring has come from, because it's actually looks in pretty good condition. We just want to go a little bit smaller because this one will have stretched. Here we go for this one. Yeah, they look like good fits. So let's apply some power now and just see what happens. You can't see him, but his eyes are just looking around. He's looking up and down. Okay, let's clean up some of the springs and the bits around. Looking at this speaker, so this one's held in place like so. You know, super gluing something like that probably isn't going to keep it in. So I think the best thing to do is just to get the hot glue gun fired up. In the meantime, I'm going to work my way around. Corrosion or tarnishing to it, you can see it just coming off a lot of the components. Imagine that switch takes a bit of a battering on the top. Here you can see solder joints are just starting to come away. Now if I did take the whole board off, I'd probably want to heat those up. I don't really want to do it. If I start trying to heat them up and then it heats one further down that I can't get to, I'm going to start getting in a whole load of trouble. Okay, the option I'm going to go with is because I'm going to hot glue gun down there, is I'm going to put some hot glue just on the base of this switch to give it a little bit of reinforcement from rocking, and see if we can get it working. And then if there is a fault there, then we go back in and we see if we want to address it then. But there's no point trying to do it now and risking like just ruining everything else. So the hot glue's ready, and we're just going to secure it up at the top in another couple of places. Right, so at this point we have 2 fresh belts on here. The speaker's been reattached, we know it works. I've kind of cleaned up a lot of the dirt and grime, tied it up around here, cleaned the head, and then I've just reinforced that switch. So you can see it's not moving now. So what I'm going to do now off camera is go and clean up the rear section here, so give it a good wash. I'm also going to work on getting rid of that. Work on the front section, so we'll get this cleaned up as well. Then we'll put it all together and we'll see where we're at. Okay, I'm back. I've got a couple of things to show you, but first I've got a question for you, and that is, did you work out where this spring had come from? Because I've just figured it out. If you did, drop it in the comments now. No cheating by looking at anyone else's. I'm going to give you a second, then I'm going to tell you where it came from. Okay, you done? It actually came from inside these tweezers. It was in there, so it wasn't even part of this. It was a total red herring. I figured that out. Well done to anyone who noticed that. So what I'm going to show you is I'm back from doing the cleaning. So here it is. He's had a real nice bath. Got in and basically got rid of virtually everything I could get into you know, with a scrubbing brush and with a toothbrush. There's a couple of tiny bits just inside there, but bearing in mind this is areas you're not even going to see. I just wanted to clean it up because it's got a bit of personal pride, but also you don't want it to kind of, I don't know, have any chance of getting on the rest of stuff. So that's done. Also had the rear section all cleaned up as well. And so the first thing I found was this rear section can actually be removed. I guess if you don't have a tape cassette in or anything, you just kind of click it together like that. So that's how that attaches. And then the other thing I wanted to show you was when I was doing the other parts, because I was doing this bit and this bit, is on the battery bay, this is where you have the date and the manufacturer. So if you see there, it says 1985 Playskool, division of Hasbro, Bradley Incorporated. I think I'll flip this over now, put a cloth down just to protect the bits, clean up the front of this because this is going to go inside. Then we'll reattach these. So that's this section cleaned up as well as I could with the components still being attached. It's much better than it was, that's for sure. Some of these areas aren't even going to be visible when the front goes back on. So that's all done. I think the next step is going to be to rebuild it all and then pop in a tape and see if we can actually get some life out of it. Right, so first let's get those contacts reattached to the rear section. What I'm going to quickly do is see if I've got any screws that would be similar to this in length. One was for the battery bay and one was for under the sides. I can have a look. Yeah, it's not fully biting, but it'll give something. Right, so I guess it's going to be the moment of truth. What I'm going to quickly do is look online and see how you actually work this thing. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. I read that it will play the story cassettes and also play normal cassettes. So I'm going to tidy up, leave this here, get a normal tape cassette, and then we'll see if we have any joy. Right, I've just been upstairs and found some instructions, and I thought it'd be nice to set it up like this rather than shooting up to the camera, so we'll get a better view of everything that happens. The instructions are here, beauty of the internet, and basically it just says 4D cell batteries as we already knew. When the batteries become weak, his face will fade or become scrambled. This reminded me I hadn't put the label back on, so I've just quickly stuck that back on, although it might be a bit preemptive if we have to go inside, but fingers crossed we don't. Inside here it says to play his storybook cassette, slide it to where it has the picture of Casey on mode. So basically here there's either a picture of a cassette or like a cassette with a face. So it's basically saying that when you're in story mode, it's over to that side, and when it's in the other mode it's there, so slide that over. It lets Casey know when to pause for his special activities. If it continues to shut off, you have to check that, so maybe if you're playing a normal cassette and it kept stopping, go over there. To play storybook tape or any other cassette tape, slide it to eject, which we know, so with that we'll put it inside there, and the cassette will pop open, put it in slide 1, and then to operate it you put it to ready and then press go. It says go tie. Is he supposed to have a tie? It's implying it's a tie. Oh yeah, I guess it's a bow tie, isn't it? So you press go, and then he'll come to life and tell you his story. His mouth responds, and it says here he'll respond best to middle level volume. If it's too low, he may randomly pause the tape, increase the volume, and press go. So that's interesting. So if it stops, it might be the volume, or it might be that it's like a time in the story that it's telling. And then over here, to fast forward, put it to forward, and then it's saying press the go again. To rewind, flip it over and do the same. They're programmed to pause automatically at certain points. This allows your child time to respond to the activities, no need to rush, and then you press the go. And then it also says here when you basically leave it on all the time, because it says it requires very little battery drain, and if his face fades or whatever, you just press the go again and he'll just sit there. So that's everything there, and then it just has like a 90-day warranty on the back. So let's stick some batteries in, and then we'll do it with the story time, and we'll have a look at the book. And after that, I thought it'd be fun just to throw a tape cassette in as well and see how well that does. I've also kind of expanded the contacts so they're nice and tight in there now. So 1, 2, 3. We'll give it a sprinkle. Pop this on. And we only had the one screw, didn't we? But I've got the other one that I'm hoping might fit. It'll just be a little shorter. Yeah, I mean that works fine, and it fits okay. So I can already just see it's the little bits in the background. That's a good sign. So let's pop our tape in. Fingers crossed. So it did say pop the tape in first, didn't it? Then put it to ready. And now here's the moment of truth. What do you think? There he is. Is he going to start? Is he going to start talking straight away? Okay, so he's there. Tape's in. Oh, it's starting now. Look.
Hello. This is your space-traveling friend Casey. I hope you're ready to have some fun, because I'd like to tell you one of my stories. It's called Casey Finds a Friend. You can watch my face while I tell you all about my adventures, and you can follow along in your book. Just turn over the page every time you hear the sound of a shooting star.
Isn't this amazing? It's actually working.
Like this. I'm sure we're going to have a great time together. Are you ready to start? Turn to the first page of the story. And let's go.
Am I going to get a copyright strike for this? I hope not.
It's really good to have friends. Friends are one of the best things in the universe. I know, because a long time ago, I left my own tiny planet to see what I could discover in outer space. Of course, I had to leave all my friends, too.
Oh, that's a shame.
The first thing I discovered was that I missed my friends. The second thing I discovered was that I was lost. Lost amongst the stars and planets without even a friend to talk to.
Look at his face.
I felt very lonely and very sad.
Shooting star?
I'll just have to find a new friend, I told myself.
I don't know where the special sections
someone
are.
Out here somewhere. First, I looked on the dark side of the moon.
We're supposed to do something at some point, aren't we?
But there was nothing but craters and moon dust. Then I took a look at Saturn. I even looked all along the Milky Way.
Should we try the fast forward?
It was fun touching the stars.
What happens if you press go? Does that stop it?
But I didn't find a single
Okay, fast forward.
Then I drifted off to sleep. My little computer must have heard me.
How good does this look, though, by the way?
Beautiful green planet called Earth. What a good place to crash.
I tell you what, I could just sit there and watch it do that all day. Look at it just sat there. The colours, all of this and this, it's just brilliant. And that is surprisingly good. Look at it just sat there looking around. I've got to be careful not to get a copyright strike on this because there's things like the Prodigy on. I just thought it'd be funny that this says hardcore tracks and I'd stick it in what is we now know a space robot. So I'm probably we put it into this mode now, don't we? Close it. And then is he going to play? There we go. I'm going to turn that down a second, and then see he's stopped there. I think that's because it's quiet. I think if you turn it up down to here, press go. Does he ever think and then play like he does with his story? There we go. Oh, how brilliant. Yeah, so I just had to push it all the way down to ready. I'm not getting, I don't want to get a copyright strike and ruin this video. It's just so good. So let's pop it in for a little bit longer. We'll see a little bit more of Casey. So I'll pop it in all the way up there, down to ready.
To my crumpled spaceship. I'm sure I'll find a friend here. I started walking across the green planet. Please, will you be my friend? I asked the first somebody I saw. I put my arms around her rough brown hide so that she wouldn't be frightened and run away. But she didn't answer me. She didn't even move. Don't worry, I said,
It was a tree.
patting her on the side. I know there are times when friends like to be quiet.
I'll tell you what, that is absolutely brilliant, and I think that's a really great place to stop and do a summary. So this was the 1985 Casey the Talking Tape Player Robot, released by Playskool in 1985. As we saw, it had a lot of kind of cosmetic wear that needed sorting out. The battery bay with its contacts, so it wasn't getting power inside. The belts had gone for the motor. I can't remember what else we did. So, you know, basically a full strip, clean, fault find and rebuild. And now Casey's sat there looking absolutely fantastic. You know, really lovely size. It would look great on a shelf. I'm half inclined to keep this one, even though I never had it. You know, if you watch my videos, I only really keep the stuff that I had as a kid, but this thing is really fantastic, and with the tape and with that as well, or you can even play your own music. I've really enjoyed doing this restoration. I'm glad I took it on. Yeah, so that brings us to the end of the video, and if you liked this one, you might enjoy the one that's about to pop up just over here in the screen. So, you know, if you want to support the channel, check that out, and until the next one, all the best, take care, and see ya.